You are an educator. You have a choice of virtual worlds. You can go where you choose. What makes SpotOn3D.com different? Our easy press tools make presentation native. Easy inventory go from grid to grid. Universal registration. Universal avatars. EduMerge and micro-community. Community conference center. 100 people on a cloud. Free forever accounts with 5 avatars. Premium membership with full production level skills. Protection. SpotOn3D.com. Different.
Hello and welcome back to GRIDwrap. In the UK, we are in a very, very cold and snowy position, and we've been talking about the weather ad nauseum. So I'm upsetting my US-bound friends, I think, who probably aren't fazed by 6 inches of snow. Anyway, today we have our lovely co-host, Tessa Harrington, here with us from Spot on 3D. Hello, Tessa.
Hello, everyone.
And our special guest tonight is Betsy Darwinian, who is Betsy Price in real life and Associate Faculty Director at the Center for Teaching and Learning at the University of Texas at Brownsville. Welcome, Betsy.
Well, thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Well, it's lovely to have you. Look at you. We're all seriously drab today next to this gloriousness that is you with your tiara and your blue hair.
Oh, yes, my tiara is part of me.
Is it something that you adopted when you first came into Second Life and you've had it ever since? A lot of people do things.
No, actually, it was a gift from a friend, and I don't know. People always give me tiaras, even in real life. I have no idea why.
So, could we say you're a bit of a princess, Betsy? Do you think?
Oh, could be. I'm spoiled. I want to get my way. I guess that's princess-like.
I think that's fine. I think that's absolutely fine. Now, tell us, how long have you been in Second Life?
A year, since last December.
Oh, wow. And what brought you in?
I came in because I inherited the University of Texas at Brownsville's island. So I'm the lead at the islands. And it was our job to develop them and start using them in education.
Now, when you say develop them and use them in education, I mean, how does one start to go about that?
Well, that was a challenge because when I first saw the islands, I got on and walked around and there was absolutely nothing. There was some nice grass, but that was it. So, and like with anything in technology, you just have to play to learn to figure out how to do that. And so we started building buildings, just trying to figure out what to build.
Did you know how to build when you first came in? I mean, were you actively building or were you organizing everybody? I mean, being a princess and all.
Oh, being a princess, you just order things. But no, I had no idea how to build. And so we had one of our techs in our tech department. He gave us some basic lessons, and then we started recruiting people, students and friends, one of which is Alan Pastorine, who's in the audience now. Hey, Alan.
Yes, I'm just admiring his avatar. You know what a avatar.
Oh, dear God. Right, I just need to warn everybody, if it goes completely silent, it means Tessa is IMing the latest gorgeous avatar to find out all about them. So
I already did.
Oh, there we go. Eyes on the prize, Tessa, please.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
you started recruiting students to come in. I mean, who were these students? What are they studying? And were they willing?
Well, the students, in fact, I've got a bunch of students in the room with me right now because they're working on their final projects, and they're doing poster sessions for environmental science on the island right now. But we have them all in. Some of them come to the laboratory and use it, and some of them use their computers at home. So it makes it kind of a little bit more relaxing for class in some ways because they can stay home or they can come in. And first we started by recruiting professors that would want to do something new and interesting with their class. And then as we found out what they might want to do, then we started building classrooms and simulations and different things for them. And it's kind of interesting because it's easier to work with the students than it is the professors. The students come in.
That's very often the case, isn't it?
Yes. But we don't talk.
Come in. Do the students have to come in? Is that the point? And the professors don't? Or, do you kind of have to drag? When you say professors, they all sound, sort of a bit doddery, but that's probably not the case, is it?
No. Well, it's interesting with technology. There isn't an age restriction. It's basically a personality. We have professors that are 90 years old, and we have professors that are, very young. So it just depends on their interest.
Okay. So these students that you've got in your room with you right now who are doing their posters and their end of year assignments, are they listening to you? Are they watching you?
Well, right now they're busy answering questions from their professor.
I see.
Yes.
So are we disturbing them?
No. I asked them if we would disturb them. They said no. They're intent on their assignments.
Okay. So you built your tech department gave you lessons and you started building. And when you kind of started building, and what sort of classes had you decided to bring into Second Life? Is it specifically technology?
No, they're not technology. The first course we brought in was an environmental science course. And the students, it's a non-major science course. And that was kind of important because with a non-major science course, the students are basically kind of hostile because they're going to not be scientists. And so it seems like a course that they have to take. So we wanted to make it a little bit more interesting for them. And Second Life has been very interesting for some. And it's interesting, not all the students like it. Some students just go nuts and have a good time. And we have a couple students that we've hired to work with us after they've taken a class. And so it's what they do is they have a lab. Every 2 or 3 weeks they have a Second Life lab, and right now what they're doing is they're putting up their final projects in a poster session like you would have at a regular conference, and explaining what they've learned over the year.
Wow. So sorry, go on, Tessa.
The ones that don't hop in there and just run off with it. Have you figured out why?
Some of them really enjoy the building. Some of them like the social aspect of it. Some of them like the fun of it. And we can see that some of them will expand on and go to other sims and do more things on Second Life. But we need to find more things for them to do. We know we have a lot of students that come on the island and stay for a while, and then they look for something to do. So we're trying to work, how can we get the students to be on Second Life when they're not in classes?
Right.
We have actually been surprised because we've been trying to set up an internship for people in here for NBC. And what's happening with it is that we thought we would get students, but in fact we haven't got students. We've got people who've been out in the big wide world for a length of time and who've been working on other things, and maybe who do a parallel job in media or whatever and want to learn production and want to learn about virtual worlds and about filming in virtual worlds and all that kind of thing. But we haven't ever been approached by students. We have been approached by what we perceive as being very, very young people who aren't really legal until I think later in December. But so throw students at us if you spy anybody who wants to do media. Feel free to do that, I would say.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, we can provide students. Absolutely no problem with that. And one of our goals at UTB is to have students be primary builders, that we don't use the tech staff, but the students start building, and the students start developing bots and writing scripts. And since we've had the islands building, they've pretty much changed looks every semester as more students come on and more professors use it. It's a constantly changing environment.
This is really interesting, Betsy, because I mean, how long have you planned to be in Second Life? Is there a finite time for you? Is this an experiment, or is it going to be a permanent part of your courses?
It'll be a permanent part of the course. In fact, what we're looking at is the virtual worlds are to the internet what talkies were to silent films. And so what we're anticipating is with distance education courses, with all different kinds of courses, that Second Life will become almost a commodity in university education.
Oh, that's good that you say that. I mean, do you think that generally about all the virtual worlds that are springing up? I mean, we've got the Open Sim development, we've got Reaction Grid, we've got Spot on 3D, we've got Twinity, we've got all sorts of Blue Mars, what have you. Do you think that they're all going to be goers, as it were, in the long term?
Oh, definitely. And what I'm looking at is, right now, the virtual worlds are very, very inexpensive for colleges to do. But they're not ready immediately for colleges to start spending a lot of money. But it's on the tipping point right now. So what we have to do is, so far the users of Second Life or virtual worlds have been recreation. And recreation users are very, very easy and cheap and profitable to accommodate. Now, the colleges will be 10, 20 times more profitable. However, they will they need more services than what we're experiencing right now.
Have a higher bar of expectation, won't they?
A higher bar of expectation. There's more restrictions. As an example, we had 30 students doing poster presentations last Tuesday, and all of a sudden there was an island restart. And you can't do those kinds of things without disrupting education. You've got 30 students; they've got 2 hours to do this project.
Yeah.
You take 20 minutes out of that for a restart. It disrupts the class completely.
So what is the solution to that? I mean, presumably there is a way of Linden Labs or any other provider communicating with you, giving you a warning, or, I mean, unless it's an emergency or something like that. Shouldn't there be some kind of timetabling with that?
Yes, there should. In most of the technological industries that service the education community, they've worked out a system where if you're going to do major upgrades or you're going to do major changes, you do them over the holiday breaks. And you work with the individual colleges to understand their schedules. So, and right now, virtual world technology is very basic, but that's going to change quite a bit as educators get online.
Well, what is the UT looking to do in the next 3 years. Are they actually going to start doing, like 4 or 8 classes a day that are degree oriented, or are they still just kind of feeling their way through it?